My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we're talking about The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which is an action RPG developed and published by Nintendo for the 3DS in 2013.
Yeah, and there's two special things about this. One, executive produced by Zero Dark Thoughty. Thank you, Zero Dark Thoughty.
Love that name.
Very good. And then this is our premium episode for the month, which means everybody's going to get the generalities of this, but the full play-by-play going through these clever little dungeons is going to be for patrons at $5 and up at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yeah. And this is a game that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah, this is so good.
Depending on what day you ask me, this is my favorite Zelda game.
Yeah.
And replaying it. So like, this is an interesting game because I guessed it. We have, Pod Friends, a podcast called The Short Game. And I guessed it on their episode about A Link Between Worlds many years ago, like when it came out. And I like it. I liked it then, the way my tastes have changed and being exposed to other games and stuff. I appreciate this even more.
Yeah.
Now, like, I feel like this has aged really well.
It's aged really well. And I think that it is very important that this is a portable Zelda game.
Yes.
Which is a distinction that is all but lost now.
Yeah. Now, though, like with the Switch, getting rid of that stuff. This is also really ahead of its time in terms of the line between remake sequel that a lot of games are playing with now.
Yeah.
It's like half like straight up spiritual successor to Link to the Past, half sequel and half remake.
Yeah.
They are playing with your familiarity in really interesting ways while expanding on the original game in tons of ways.
Yeah.
Thinking of this as a remake, is definitely wrong, but there are enough things. They grab the set pieces.
Yeah.
So you get to go, oh yeah, here, it's this room.
Yep. I get it.
I get it. And then they do give you a little twist on it and stuff like that. It is a game built up of that.
Yeah.
It feels like,
also ahead of its time in terms of, this is one of the first major departures from the standard Zelda formula.
Yes.
There were, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks prior to this, which had, I think, smaller, kind of dumber departures, more related to we're on the DS now.
Yeah.
This is more. This is cutting a little bit closer to the heartwood, right?
Very, very much so. In an interesting way, this is a alternate to me. I think of this almost like an alternate direction from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
that Zelda could have taken. It's closer to the original formula than Breath of the Wild is, but the distinctions this makes from the Zelda formula, I think, are really good.
Yeah.
Huge improvements.
Have we?
And we'll get to those individually, but like, this is a Zelda. The best way I can describe this is a Zelda that is much more suited to my taste.
Yes.
Than almost any Zelda game I played.
Weirdly making it a pair or a piece with Bowser's Fury, actually.
Yeah, very much so. Even though I would say the baseline Marios I still like more than baseline Zeldas now. I still have not played Tears of the Kingdom. Somebody told me that is the talkiest Zelda by far, and it really put a damper on my desire to play it.
Yeah. Is this the first 3DS game we've done, like made for and exclusive to the 3DS?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I can't remember another one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's an interesting era. Yeah. We should do more. So in this, you play as Link, because it's a Zelda game. You set out to rescue Princess Zelda. A new villain named Yuga turns her into a painting and kidnaps her. taking her to his home world, Lorule.
As opposed to Hyrule.
Your mileage will vary. I like Lorule.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb, but I think that's good.
Yeah.
I like Lorule.
Lorule's fine. I've got no problems with it. Could it have just been the Dark World? Maybe. I don't know.
It feels different to me.
Yeah.
It feels different than the Dark World.
It does.
It feels like and this is not a deep game, but there is something that this is playing with thematically of like, what would Hyrule look like without all of Hyrule's privileges?
Yes.
In a weird way, that actually is like kind of cuts to something a little themey, which Zelda's outside of Majora's Mask just don't care about.
Right.
Like don't do.
Yeah.
No.
So this is a top-down Zelda game. And it feels very much like a faster and looser Link to the Past, right? You have analog control. You can point in a bunch of different directions. I believe, Gary, and you can correct me, we are beyond the need for describing the basics of a Zelda game to the audience.
Yeah, an overhead action RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, you basically get it. We'll talk about the distinctions as we get there, but go back to our Link to the Past episode. Yeah. If that's something new to you. You can assign 2 items to the face buttons that you have here, and you also have the sword, which is always on B. There. The shield is no longer something that's active all the time. You now have to block actively by pressing the R button there, which is nice. And the bottom screen, this is uses the DS kind of technology of this really well. The bottom screen shows the map a lot of the time, but then becomes an inventory screen that you can then rearrange with your stylus, and then also quick select items. Yeah. You don't have to use the stylus there. You can also do the cheeky little cheat that I like to use, which is use my finger. Yeah. I'm not going to pull out a stylus and then put it back in its tiny little holster every time I want to open the inventory.
There's just something gross about touching a resistive touchscreen to me. It's beneath me.
But what do you do with the stylus when you're just playing the game?
I hold it in my mouth or behind my ear,
like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't chew on your stylus, bro?
No.
Okay. Oftentimes I'll just put it back in its slot, but loosely. Yeah. So rearrange
a quick draw holster for the 3DS stylus.
Yeehaw. Yeah. Rearranging matters because your quicks, you set the range for your quick swaps. It makes more sense when the game shows you how to do it than talking about it here. Those are minor differences. Let's talk about major differences and the stuff that makes this real cool.
Yeah, makes it different.
Yeah. So early in the game, you gain the ability to merge onto walls. You become this animate painting that can move from side to side. There is no gravity. You do not fall. It's not like a side-scrolling kind of thing. So you can merge high up and cross over gaps. You can slip through cracks. And you can knock stuff away from the wall by popping out from it.
Yeah. And this is used both, for puzzles and navigation, but also to show that this is actually a 3D world. The scenes, the town, Kakariko Town, the same Kakariko Town in Link to the Past, it's the same basic town here, but the buildings have backsides.
Yes.
They didn't before. You can now you can look at them. Yeah. This is, it's actually 3D. There is a little bit of 3D stuff that this is used for that I found to be a little bit of a pain because I don't really like 3D on the 3DS. They do some depth puzzles that are a little annoying, but this kind of, the actual depth of the world, on the x-axis works really well for me.
Yeah, it's really good. It leans into the fact that the Link to the Past and Link's Awakening style, that top down with the isometric, it makes everything feel a little bit like a diorama.
Yes.
And by merging onto the walls, it just conceiving of this 2D playfield as a 3D space to get around is neat, and it is a way to make the upgrade to 3D not like stereoscopic 3DS kind of shit, but just we have 3D polygonal graphics now, even though it's a 2D game. It makes that upgrade feel not just superficial, right?
Yeah. Another really clever touch, kind of two clever touches in one here. Being merged depletes your energy bar. You use this now to power special items, so garner ammo. Also, this replenishes on its own. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Love it.
There's all these little things that there's no reason this shouldn't have been how it always worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like this kind of idea that the game would be too easy and there would be scarcity. You know, you would give up some kind of interesting scarcity.
Yeah.
If when you ran out of an item, you know, you need to use the cane that creates blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's required for this puzzle. If you experiment and run out of that energy, or you used it for a fun ability and got into a room without that energy, the way that Link to the Past handles that is always just to have an energy refill in the room that respawns. That's artificial already.
Yeah.
And not that cool. Like that, just fucking give me the thing. If you're gonna have me need to use it for how necessary for progress, it's no longer, we're not playing the interesting resource game at that point.
No.
We're not playing the scarcity, you know, the interesting choice that comes with scarcity at that point. You're just making me do a chore to get my stuff back.
Yeah, it's just a shoe leather tax, right?
It recharges quick. Like it takes very little time.
Yeah.
So the length of your energy bar determines in puzzles how far you can go stuck to the wall. Like, and that ends up coming up several times. Like it's a limiter. But then you just wait like a couple seconds and it's full.
Yeah.
You're never choosing between making progress and using a cool ability. Consequently, all these things that were too good to use, like the spells in Link to the Past, remember those?
Not
like,
really, because I never used
amulets.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like every once in a while you could do a screen clear. It wasn't really worth it though. And partly because you use up magic that you might need to use for forward progress.
Yeah.
They just got rid of that. And like, it's so much better just fucking getting rid of it.
It still becomes a limitation, right? Like,
yeah,
it kind of turns into a little bit of a stamina system if you're relying on, you know, bombs or arrows for your combat, right?
Yeah, but you just wait a little bit. It's a stamina system like a Dark Souls one where it refills.
Yeah.
You know, really quickly. It's great.
Yeah.
Much better. Huge change.
Yeah. We talked about the special items. This is another big change. No longer do you go to the hookshot dungeon and get the hookshot and then use the hookshot there and then nowhere else. You do not get the special Zelda items, your bombs, your bow, your boomerang, other ones that begin with B, from the big chests and the dungeons. Instead, you rent them from a merchant named Ravio, who is set up shop in your house.
He's squatting in your home since you're not using it. This is the marquee change. This is the one that everyone talks about when we talk about this game. And I think that, I'll be curious to hear what you and I haven't really talked about this before we were recording. Curious to hear what you say about this. I think that when people talk about this change, they're missing one of the major upsides of this. So like what this means is you can go, and we'll talk, this is related to the next point. So you can use these items and you can go in the dungeons almost any order you want, right? Dungeon will have a requirement. It'll say you need bombs for this dungeon. So on one hand, you can look at that and say, what is the difference? I know I need to bring bombs in here. This is going to be the dungeon that uses bombs, you know, so I just have to go rent the bomb. Oh no, you know, like that's not actually that different. To me, what it changes is you can have everything at once. It supports that you can use the toys feeling. Like the way, you know, if you die, the way this works is your items get scooped up if you rented them. You know, that is your consequence for death in this game. Not trying to brag about gamer stats or whatever. It's not very hard not to die in this.
This is a very easy game.
Yeah, like there's some tricky platforming kind of puzzle stuff that happens eventually, but it's pretty easy. You can not die and you can still save and reload if you lose your stuff. Ignore that threat of losing your stuff. Yeah. Just think of this as a Zelda game where you have everything from the beginning. Yeah. And when you get into a dungeon, it will say, hey, you need the ice rod for this. This is the ice rod dungeon. But you have access to all these other toys that are very useful for combat and then also useful for other things. Yeah. Like, you know, there's not necessarily, this is closer to a Metroidvania than other dungeons. When people bemoan the old way of like, oh, it was so fucking good that the hookshot dungeon, you grab the hookshot and then it teaches you how to use it. With all respect, I'm not an idiot. I know how to use the hookshot, and the way that it teaches you how to use the hookshot is always and has always been the most basic fucking thing in the world. And then you never really need to use it again. Right. Like you play Twilight Princess or whatever, and you get the surfing on tracks thing. You can then do the surfing on tracks in that dungeon. The only time you use surfing on tracks after that is to get a couple heart pieces in the overworld. Yeah. it's really not that clever. Like it's something that I feel like has been held up. It's something that like I feel like Game Maker's Toolkit, a YouTube channel I generally enjoy, has to answer for. That design of like you find the weapon, hit the boss with the weapon 3 times, being kind of championed as really great design, is responsible for. I don't find that exciting. I don't think that's very problem solving or interesting. It feels like it's holding your hand every step of the way.
Yeah. Also, looking at this as a remake or looking at this as something that is playing with your nostalgia and your familiarity, a lot of people are going to be coming to this knowing exactly what these things do. Additionally, having the dungeon teach you how to use each item is not the only way to do it. And there might be fun to be gained by experimenting on the overworld.
Yes, exactly. Instead of making the overworld, which in most Zelda games is an afterthought, right? Like it was the big thing when we revisited Ocarina of Time that I had a problem with when we revisited that. Like some of the dungeons were fun, but just going through Hyrule Field, going through these things always felt like a chore.
Yeah.
It's just a big empty place with a couple fights that demand just enough of your attention to be a little tedious. And it just took time. Now there's, in addition to just searching for heart pieces, which is something you've always been able to do, like it's expressive. And that's something that it shares with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, I think, is the first expressive Zelda game, or the second expressive game after this. Now, when I'm fighting a guy, he's above me. I'm like, well, I can throw a bomb at him. Oh shit. When I used my ice rod, I found out that actually summons icicles from the sky. If I stand under the platform he's on and use it, it will hit him before it hits me.
Yeah.
Because the platform's there. Like you get to experiment with that shit. Does it go as far as it could? No, but it goes 100% more than traditional Zelda.txt does.
Yeah.
Then this is the Zora's Flippers dungeon. You swim in it, and like the puzzle is, what if you had to swim to the other side of this pool?
Yeah.
Or like this is the arrow dungeon. The puzzle is you have to shoot something.
Yeah. The thing you need to hit's over there.
Yeah. We don't do that. In this game. Like there's still you go into a room and there's 2 torches. Are you a bad enough dude to light both torches puzzle? Which I hate, but there's a lot more than usual. To me, it is a lot better.
Yes.
Than that.
Things are a little bit gated too, right?
Yes.
Like not all of these are available from the beginning. There's like a second set that opens up after you reach a certain point. Like there is still, like a little bit of guiding that it is doing to you. But broadly, like once you get over the fact that you are spending money to get, to get these things, just get all of them. You don't have to buy them, right? Like you can buy them. You can. They're very expensive to buy them outright, so they don't go away when you die. But even that is offset by the fact that this game hands out rupees so freely.
So again, I think this is a thing that is really good. Because when's the last time you gave a shit about an economy in a Zelda game?
Never.
Right? Never. I've never cared about getting rupees. Like it is the worst thing in the world. You get a chest and it gives you 50 rupees and you're like, what am I going to use this for? I already bought the fucking shield in the bottle.
Yeah.
There's nothing I want with this. Now, because you can use it to buy items, I don't like that because I'm going to lose them when I die, because I'm not going to die. I like it because that's how you upgrade them as well. You have to own them to upgrade them.
Yes.
Like it actually makes you care about money. And that is huge. Like, it's not that caring about money is the coolest thing you can do in a video game. It's, if you are going to have money in a video game, make it matter. Or extended to, if something's going to be in the video game, make it fucking matter. And like this does that. And it's the minimum. I shouldn't be like saying this is incredible to do this, but it is incredible for this series, which historically does not give a shit about stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about that upgrading. I didn't make a note of this. This is done with a special resource that you get.
Yeah, a collectible.
Yeah.
The upgrades are they're never necessary. They're really meaningful in terms of using these for combat, which you can now do because of the energy meter difference. Like for most of the back half of this game, I used the upgraded fire rod as my combat item. And it did not just feel like Zelda.txt.
No.
It changed it a lot because that causes a huge conflagration that you can be hurt by. Like just imagine a fucking Zelda where you have a different combat verb.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's a, you kind of get a little bit of that in Ocarina with the different, weapons. But this feels very different to me.
Yeah.
In that respect.
Yeah.
And imagine using a fire rod for anything other than doing a puzzle where you're on a floating platform and you have to keep 4 torches lit at the same time, which is the only thing you used it for in the first one.
Yeah. Alternate attack. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
So this leads to the third major change, which we've already talked about, right? You can do the dungeons in mostly any order that you want. There's one that has an item requirement, and then there's one that you have to do first before you can go do some of the others. You have to complete the first batch of 3, and then the 7 main dungeons open up. But broadly, it is not, hey, you really need to beat Turtle Rock before you go do X, Y, or Z. That's a bad example because Turtle Rock's the last one. So
yeah, we know what you mean. The in Link to the Past, you have to get the glove from the Thieves dungeon before you can go into the dungeon that has the big rock in front of it.
Yes.
Yeah. This was intentional. That they did this. They want to deviate from the Zelda norm because they didn't like that players could get stuck in one of the linear dungeons and have nothing to do. The overworld was worthless. You couldn't go on to the next dungeon. It's just like, fuck this game, you put it down.
Yes.
They wanted to avoid that.
A good goal. And also, I'm in favor of having something to bounce to if you get frustrated in one place. Didn't happen to me in this game.
No.
But
because I mean, the downside of that, the dark side, and this is a criticism this game gets, is that because similar to the second half of Dark Souls, because you can do it in any order, it doesn't ramp up in challenge.
Yeah.
My answer to that would be like, I don't think that the most Zeldas do that much either.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a series that's ever been about rigor. Like Zelda games are not hard generally. So this one being a little bit easier than some of them doesn't bother me.
What I think that is a shorthand for is that the dungeons don't get longer.
Yeah, well, I think you're right too, because that's another criticism where people are like, oh, you don't have enough to like chew on in the dungeons. And I'm like, how long do you want to chew on the same fucking piece of meat?
Yeah.
Like the dungeons in this, I don't know if this is a point later and it's skipping ahead.
Yeah, no, it totally is. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm going to say it anyway because I started the sentence.
Yeah.
Apologize for scrambling your notes here. I'm just so excited to play a Zelda game I like. Is that they get in and get out. Like they give you the idea, you do the idea, you explore, you can find a bunch of stuff, and then they're gone. Like there's not a lot. None of the dungeons are based around backtracking.
Yep.
Right? Like you think about the water temple, that's the most egregious example where like you spend a lot of your time flipping a switch and then walking several floors to see how that switch flip has affected things. This game generally doesn't do that. No. There is a water level dungeon that gets the closest to it, and it's still like half as long as the water temple dungeon.
Yeah. I am way in favor of a dungeon that maxes out at a half hour.
Yep. A play session.
Yes.
Like a reasonable play session, or, heaven forfend, you can do a dungeon and an overworld phase, before bed.
Yes.
Like that to me is good. And it's not just me liking short games. This game isn't actually that short.
No.
It's shorter compared to some Zeldas. It's definitely short compared to like Breath of the Wild, but it's not like a micro game or anything.
No.
There's lots to do in this game. Like it just feels like the pacing is better because you're spending more time doing a variety of things.
Yeah. So, like in Link to the Past, you do go back and forth between worlds, hence the title. Here, you are going back and forth between Hyrule and Lorule, and these are modeled after the SNES game, right? Things are roughly in the same place. Things will look and appear familiar. And you move through the worlds by merging onto a surface and then kind of going through these special cracks.
Yep. Right from the beginning, you have these weather vanes that are fast travel and save points in the game. So this, we talked about this. You can stock up on fairies so you don't die. You can also save. So if you die, you don't have to lose your rentals. You can just reload. It's fine. A funny thing about this that is just, Nintendo got in Nintendo is that if you've been playing for too long, it begs you to stop as if it wasn't released for a system that has sleep mode.
Yep.
Like I assure you, I have not actually been playing this in one sitting.
Yeah.
I just haven't gone back to the title screen.
Have you ever thought about taking a break? Hey, take a break.
Yeah. It's real sweaty. Yeah. And then if you get done with a boss, the weather vanes are freaking out for you to visit them. Like, which I think I like that part's kind of
very cute. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
So that fast travel network is very welcome. Something else, like we said, we've got these small dungeons. Sorry, I started that point without realizing we already did it.
It's okay.
And
that's my fault.
All of these other Zelda features and touches return. They're too numerous to go through them all. We have goofy NPCs to talk to. There are lots of mini games. This goes along with the economy because they're just ways to get coins, to get rupees if you want them, but also, mini games to play to get heart containers if you want. A couple of side quests, tons of secrets hidden around the world. It's good.
Yeah, and the secrets tend to be pretty good. Like, the mini games I think are a little bit weird in this batch. Like, there's a 3D baseball game that I find really strange. In this, but I also am not a completionist, which probably leads to this being a game I really like.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, the little guys you have to find to do your upgrades were my most favored secret and collectible, because upgrading my item in a material way was useful.
Yes.
It was exciting to get a new ability.
Yeah.
And those are everywhere, mostly hidden in clever ways. And even when they're not that clever to find, they take like no time to get.
Yeah.
So you may as well. Visually, game looks pretty good. It's basically Link to the Past visual style, but with kind of more chunky 3D models. It's not trying, an experiment like the Link's Awakening remake or anything.
Yeah.
And the music is good, but that's because Link to the Past has a goated soundtrack.
Right.
It's quoting from that a lot, and that soundtrack is great.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't fix it. Yes. Yeah, there we go. Story-wise, this is a Zelda story. It's still talkier than a Zelda than we prefer. Not a lot of dialogue that's not necessarily additive, but it's nowhere near Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Tears of the Kingdom. And kind of alluded to this, the true villain of this game has something approaching interesting motivations, which is a low bar, but it clears it.
Yeah, a grown-up motivation.
Yeah.
As opposed to just Ganon being a jerk.
Right.
For this. One of the things about Link to the Past that is easy to forget is that Link to the Past, for that point, was by far the talkiest Zelda, but it was just in chapter breaks. Like, you'd rescue a sage and they would tell you a paragraph about the same thing you already knew. But because you'd bet a lot of playtime between that.
Yes.
That was just having fun, moving around your little guy.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit worse.
Yeah.
There are cutscenes. We'll cut over to like people chatting in another room, things like that.
Here comes the little dipshit who's going to be screaming. He walks onto the screen and then suddenly you're just tapping through text boxes until he goes away.
Yeah. And my disease where I have to read text in a game, that doesn't help me here.
Yeah.
So,
talking about the development here, the prototyping for this began in 2009 after Nintendo shipped The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, a game which has defenders, which is weird to me. He's in a conductor's hat, guys.
I'm a big, the 3D Zeldas after Link's Awakening are actually not super good.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are okay, but they're not great.
After Link's, what?
After Link's Awakening.
Oh, the portable Zeldas.
The portable.
Yes,
yeah.
there we
go.
go.
What did I say?
You said the 3D Zeldas, and I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Yeah.
No, I am on the I do think the ones after Link's Awakening are not good as well.
It didn't apply.
I misspoke.
Yeah, the portable Zelda. I am an Oracle's defender, but I can see where you're going here.
I don't think the Oracle's ones are war crimes or anything. I'm not super into them.
Yeah. So 2009, the first concept. They had 3 holdovers. They had 3 people from the Spirit Tracks team that were held back to come up with a new idea, and it was themed around the idea of communication, which infuriated me when I saw it. But I was happy to see that Shigeru Miyamoto was like, "No, try again."
It was going to be a Strand game. Link was going to deliver letters again. Or it was going to have something to do with Street Pass. Which this kind of does. That's a weird thing that I didn't engage with because I don't do Street Pass. There is a PvP mode kind of in this where it can spawn dark links for you to fight through Street Pass. And you have to use Street Pass tokens to get certain hints. It's worth mentioning that as a mechanic just so we don't miss it, but I didn't do any of that.
It's so tied to weird hardware features that I never, ever used.
Yeah. It's purposeful obsolescence. They added something that they knew would go away.
Yeah.
The game's director, Hiromasa Shikata, proposed this merging mechanic. And this was well before this was going to be on the 3DS.
Right. It's like, hey, we can do 3D. Let's play with the 2D, 3D stuff. And then development on this didn't start for another 17 months. Nintendo was in the process of shipping the Wii U, and they needed all hands on deck to complete those Wii U launch titles that they had.
Yeah. Nintendo World, for everybody who remembers that.
Yeah.
So this was restarted once demand for a 3DS Zelda game grew. You always want to have one of your flagship titles for each platform.
Right.
In fleshing it out, they originally wanted to make a game that was 50 small dungeons built around this merge mechanic. I also would have been interested in that. micro dungeons. And you can again kind of see they did a little bit of that with Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
With the shrines.
Yeah.
Like that idea, they don't throw any idea away.
Mm-hmm. The idea to make this a follow-up to Link to the Past was from producer Eiji Aonuma. As they were talking about, okay, what style are we going to use this in? Use this idea in, and in fact, he proposed that like early versions of the world that were kind of sketched out, the rough 3D modeling, like those are still on the cart. They're modeled and they have 16-bit NES textures from A Link to the Past, just to say, okay, this is what this is supposed to be.
Yeah, placeholders according to the cutting room floor stuff that I read.
Yeah.
It was almost called New Legend of Zelda, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't do because they did New Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
It felt like that would form a pair, but I think that they wanted to resist this being quite as nostalgic a grab.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that as somebody who's kind of a mild New Super Mario Brothers defender.
Yeah.
Those are very obvious nostalgia pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they wanted to make this, showcase and underline how this is a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I think Nintendo calling it New Super Mario Brothers is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like I understand why they would. It makes sense. The words make sense in order that they're in.
Yeah.
Is all I'm trying to say. I guess I'm just trying to say that the adjective fits the noun.
It does.
Which is one of the lower bars. Like that's a floor.
Okay.
That's a low pile bar right there.
The choice to stylize the merging as Link turning into a mural painting when he's on the wall, that was inspired by Ganon entering the paintings during the final boss fight of Ocarina of Time. So
yeah, makes sense. People could do this in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So Link Between Worlds received positive reviews, really great sales, but the Zelda fan people were a little bit divisive about it. Some of these divergences from normal Zelda structure.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted another Zelda.
Yes. There was a follow-up. This was news to me.
Communication.
Yeah, communication, right? Because I am not Four Swords Adventures pilled. So it's called Triforce Heroes. It was released in 2015 for the 3DS. This was a co-op multiplayer game where you have 3 links. And it didn't make nearly the same splash because, it's a little bit alienating to have a multiplayer requirement.
I don't think that that's something that you see Nintendo keep kind of banking on.
Yeah.
And just doesn't make penetration in America.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like a Western audience thing.
No.
Very much. With exceptions, right? Like Monster Hunter, things like that. There are things that make it over. I know that's not Nintendo, but
yeah.
So Link Between Worlds might be the last portable Zelda game we get. Because the Switch, kind of making that distinction no longer meaningful.
Yes.
All Zelda games from here on out are portable for me,
mm-hmm.
but it's not going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And so the design changes are different.
Yes.
Or the design goals are no longer different.
Right. Yeah. Which, I feel conflicted about. I don't feel conflicted. I want more bite-sized Zelda. And by bite-size, I mean squarely a 16 to 18 hour game.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that it has to be portable necessarily. Mm-hmm. I would also like that on a console.
Yeah.
You and I both don't like this idea that a console is for, 60-hour games only
mm-hmm.
and a handheld is for 16-hour games. That's foolish and arbitrary to my mind.
I also like 2D Zelda, so it's kind of sad that we're not going to have that. Yeah.
They give them another 17 years to run the Breath of the Wild formula into the ground,
mm-hmm.
and then they'll be forced to experiment with something different, and that's Zelda 2's time to shine, baby.
Just waiting in the rings.
Oh baby, we got to do that on the show at some point.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it a lot. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of annoying, but it's also because it's a Nintendo game. Even it being hard, the playtime is still 1/3 of a Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for this portion of the episode.
Yeah. If you would like to hear the rest of it, you can become a patron. Go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and kick us some money. You don't just get the rest of this episode. You get the full version of every premium episode we've done so far.
Yeah. We very much appreciate it. If you are not demographically identical to us, if you're from any kind of oppressed person, and you have a project you'd like us to shout out, please send me an email, Gary@Duckfeed.tv. Include your pronouns, your name, things like that, and we'd be happy to shout it out. This episode, we are talking about a novel from Nat. who has a project to promote. This is a fantasy novel called Wanderborn, a web novel featuring a cast of LGBTQ plus characters. And there's enough now to read. 24 public chapters. There are another 8 on the Patreon. Here for people to this is for people who like this internet genre of lit RPGs, this kind of genre of fiction that takes place with worlds with diegetic mechanics.
Oh, cool.
Fantasy stories where like gaining levels, special attacks, and things are actually discussed in the world. So it's this kind of meta thing. Pretty cool. This is hosted right now on Royal Road. So if you go to royalroad.com/fiction/83067 /wanderborn-a-queer-lit RPG, you can find that and check it out. That sounds like your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have anything else, please send me. That is the last one that I had in the backlog.
Okay.
So if you have anything to promote, hit me up.
Send them on.
Yeah. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict. If you want to hear the rest of the episode, that's patreon.com. And join us in thanking our producer, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen. Yeah. And if you have things to say about next month's games, it is too late for this month. But if you have things to say about next month's games, which are Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, and Quake, which is the premium episode there, go to Duckfeed.tv/contact. Yes.
That's the special bonus episode that's just about the one hammer badge from Paper Mario.
Yes.
So
Now we can thank Gwen. Thanks, Gwen.
Yes, thank you, Gwen. See you next week for the Dispatch.